Hundreds of peace-loving Kashmiris, Palestinians, Pakistanis and the English community demonstrated outside the G7 summit. Organised by Tehreek-e-Kashmir UK. It was hosted by Resist G7 in coalition with different organisations, campaigning for justice and fairness for all the nations of the world. The aim of the demo was to put pressure on world leaders to resolve long-standing issues of Kashmir and Palestine, and also to put pressure on India and Israel to stop killings and the forced illegal occupations of Kashmir and Palestine. Supporters of Kashmir and Palestine are also urging the world community, UN, USA, UK, Japan, Canada, France, Germany and Italy to intervene and support the rights of Kashmiris and Palestinians' right to self-determination. At the protest, trade unions, Labour Party activists and other human rights representatives also urged these governments to stop human rights violations in Kashmir and Palestine and stated that they will carry on supporting Palestine and Kashmir cause. SM Irfan Tahir, World News, Cornwall.
From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea,
Palestine will be free.
Free, free.
Palestine.
Free, free.
Palestine.
Free, free.
Palestine.
Free, free.
Palestine.
Free, free. Indian Army. Indian Army.
I'm the Secretary of Birmingham Stop the War Coalition, and we're here because Joe Biden had 3 opportunities to stop the violence in the Gaza Strip, but he vetoed a call by the whole world, including even the British government, for a ceasefire. As a result, 67 children were killed. He needs to actually explain why he's supporting unconditionally the Israel attacks on the Palestinians. 1,000 Palestinians have been told by the Israeli courts to leave their homes and demolish their homes in Kashmir. There is a continual process of ethnic cleansing supported by the world, and that's one of the reasons we're here to protest about that, to carry our Free Palestine placards, to carry our Gaza Stop the Massacre. And we're also supporting the protests of the Kashmiri community against the violence, sexual attacks by the Indian forces against Kashmiris, and the silence of the Western leaders against these gross human rights abuses. They speak out because they're in competition with China about the oppression of the Uyghur Muslims, and the Uyghur Muslims are being oppressed, but they're silent on the killings in Yemen, on the killings and repression in Palestine, and the sexual violence and oppression in Kashmir. That is why Stop the War Coalition is here supporting the demonstrations today, and we will have placards, Free Palestine, Gaza Stop the Massacre, which hopefully the media will.
Hi, we're here in the Cornish town for the G7 summit, which is taking place. Whilst the international focus is on this region, we also need to raise awareness regards to the ongoing Kashmir conflict, and we're here to represent them in the United Kingdom. And just to show the world that we are not silent, we'll continue with the campaign in order to raise the profile and in order to let the other countries know that as well as what's happening in Palestine is also atrocity, Kashmir people also need the self-rights of determination to be restored to them.
We're here at Cornwall at the G7 summit. We're here standing in solidarity with the Kashmiri and the Palestinian cause. Around 70,000 people have been killed, thousands of enforced disappearances and gross human rights violations happening every day. We urge the international community and the G7 leaders here to end this brutal oppression and occupation in Kashmir and let the people have the right to decide for themselves, to live peacefully.
I'm the Information Secretary for Tehreek-e-Kashmir UK, and I'm here today with my colleagues. We are at Cornwall today at the G7 summit, and the reason we are here for the atrocities which have been caused in Kashmir and in Palestine. So we are here to create a huge impact for the right of our Muslim brothers and sisters. From the last 7 decades, Kashmiri and Palestinian people have been suffering. The only solution to Kashmir is referendum. So we would like to put pressure on the governments here and the powerful personalities and the prime ministers and presidents to make sure that the referendum take place, because a lot of disappearance, a lot of women have been made widows and half widows. Many men have been killed, detained, and daily basis there are a lot of atrocities taking place in Kashmir. So once again, I would say that Kashmir needs peace, and the only way to move forward is referendum, which India did promise. The first Prime Minister of India, Nehru, promised the world, Pakistan and India, that a referendum will take place. But till today, there's no referendum, and day by day things are getting worse. In Kashmir is becoming Palestine, because in Palestine it's becoming shrinking day by day. In the news at the moment, we hear that Kashmir is going to be vanishing from the map. Kashmiri parts are going to be made parts of Jammu and Ladakh. We need to stop it. If we don't stop it now, things are going to get really
protest about Kashmir, because India are killing our love, brutally killing Kashmir.
The Kashmiri, Pakistani and the wider English community has got together here in the Cornish town where the G Summit is taking place. We're here to register our protest. For the first time, we've come together with G7 Resist Group and also the coalition, the Climate Coalition, to make our cause, to make sure that the leaders of the world and the G7 countries media, which is also here, to make sure that they see that the issues of Kashmir and Palestine are alive and kicking, and they're the oldest issues in the United Nations that have been unresolved. So the G7 countries must take this action to stop India's oppression in Indian-held Kashmir, and since 5th of August 2019, the oppressed region of Kashmir, the world needs to wake up and see what India is doing. It's hiding behind this so-called largest democracy in the world, but we all know that's a sham. They are oppressing the people of Kashmir, they're oppressing the minorities in India, and the world needs to wake up and see what India is actually doing and take action and stop the genocide and the rape of innocent Kashmiris in Kashmir. And we're also here to raise our voice against the oppression in Palestine, and the world needs to take note of these two historical issues long outstanding in United Nations of Kashmir and Palestine.